After I do the introduction, I introduce the guest bottle, and then I get to you.
The guest bottle?
The guest bottle. This is the guest bottle.
Oh, the whiskey.
Yes. Okay. So that's the order of things.
It gets higher billing than you.
The guest bottle always comes before the guest.
I've never heard of a guest bottle of whiskey to be a guest in a talk show.
It's a podcast called Whiskey Business. You can ask these questions when we get into the actual podcast. Anything you want to know about this podcast and how it works, you can ask me when we actually start the podcast. Okay. And we're going to start the podcast in a second. You ready? Have you ever wondered why and how you are the way you are? I'm not talking about, blowing into a tube and taking a DNA test and finding out where you're from. No, that I know. At least I think I do. No, I'm talking about your personality, the way you are. For example, I'm a stubborn man. I'm a very stubborn man. And I think my stubbornness comes from my father. My father was a very stubborn man who wanted things his way or no way. And I think I've inherited some of that stubbornness. My father was also a very private man. I too, despite the fact that this is on the internet and we are involved in social media, when it comes right down to the core of it, I am a basically very private man. Maybe I got that from my father as well. I've been told that I have a sense of humor. That I got from my mother. I got that from my mother. It has to be from my mother. And some people say that my sense of humor sometimes leans towards the sarcastic. So that's how I know it comes from my mother. My mother is one of the funniest people that I know. She has made me laugh through the years, and we laugh together through the years. I don't have it as documented proof at all, but the story goes that when I was born and they said, it's a boy, my mother said, well, it had to be one or the other. So tonight, my very special guest on Whiskey Business, a long time coming, will be I won't even say her age because she'll get pissed at me, my mother, Dino Tripodis. The guest bottle will be a bottom shelf whiskey for a top shelf guest. Kessler's Smooth as Silk. It's not. It is retails for about $9 a bottle, but with this bottle, we can make what my mother loves to have from time to time, a highball. This is a little bit better than Seagram 7, which Kessler actually belonged to Seagram 7 a long time ago. Julius Kessler actually started this whiskey. He was a saloon-to-saloon salesman back in the 1800s, and this was the whiskey that he sold. Seagram's had it. It is currently owned by Jim Beam Suntory, and they claim that as far as blended whiskeys go, it's their number 2 seller. At $8.46 a bottle, that might be true. This is the stuff that's sitting in the well, people. This is the stuff you say when you go to a bar and you say you want a 7-7, that's what they give you. You want just a shot of bar whiskey, that's what they give you. Maybe, if you're lucky. And because of my mom and the fact that we're making highballs tonight, that's right, Kessler's in 7, whiskey in 7, in honor of my mother. So before we get started and actually bring her into play, Mr. Hansberry, who wore a tie, I might add, in honor of my mother's appearance. Very nice.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm still somewhat dressed up because before the podcast tonight, we are recording this on Holy Wednesday of Easter week for the Greeks. Greek Orthodox Easter is this Sunday, the 28th. Right? The 28th. Yes, the 28th.
Stop and think.
Yes, I did. And today was Holy Wednesday, a Holy Unction Day, where we get the oil. But I'll get to that in just a second. Hansberry, you want to take care of the business really fast?
Yep, I took a shower too, by the way.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, clean undies and everything.
Very nice.
Nice of you.
I have a feeling this one will be shared a lot on the social medias. So like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you want to look at how lovely we look this evening, especially you, Mrs. Tripodis, Whiskey Business is on YouTube. Subscribe to Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis.
You think I don't know about social media? Even less.
Well, then let's tell her how awesome and amazing and huge we are on the
I don't know about
internet.
social media.
You
We're
don't know anything
huge.
about social media.
No, I don't.
Well, no. What do you know about social media?
Nothing.
Do you have a
Nothing.
Facebook page?
No, she doesn't have a
No.
Facebook page. Neither do I. We don't like Facebook pages, right, Ma?
I don't want anybody knowing my business.
There you go. Maybe I got the privacy from you. Maybe I got.
Privacy, and who cares about what anybody else does? That's their business.
Fair enough.
Well, apparently
There's a
we're
lot
in
of
a day and
people-
age, Ma, where people want to know other people's
Why?
business.
Not me. Unless they want me to know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find everything out about you today. But the last thing here
oh,
on
you're not going
iTunes,
to find out everything, but we'll find out some.
subscribe
You
to us,
never know.
rate and review us, and share us with your friends and your mothers.
Yes, by all means. And so, as you can see, there is my lovely mother, Christine Tripodis. Hi, Ma.
Hi, Dino.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to Whiskey Business. This is what your son does now. Yeah.
Well,
You know,
all
after
right.
24 years in radio, this is what
I don't
you're...
understand how the world
What-
did you get into whiskey business?
Well, I didn't get into Whiskey Business. Whiskey Business is the name of the podcast.
Not the way I brought you up, Dino.
This is the way... This is what the podcast... How many minutes are we into this already?
7 maybe.
Seven,
Hit that.
maybe with
if I haven't
the
already
intro.
cut out
And we're
some.
going to talk about nothing but whiskey.
No. We're going to talk about more than whiskey. Whiskey Business is a podcast, not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. The only running theme on this podcast is that I have a different bottle of whiskey each week, and I share it with my guest. You are my guest. I got this cheap bottle of Kessler's to make highballs because that's what you used to drink whenever you would have a drink. What?
Do you know the last time I had a drink, a highball? Don't look at me
No,
like
tell
that.
me when. When was the last time you
Years
had it?
ago.
Years ago. I know you
Many
drink,
years ago.
I know you drink red wine now. You like red wine.
Well, off and on.
Off and on.
When I am.
And it's good for you.
I don't understand why you're into all this whiskey business.
I'm not into the whiskey business. It's
Well,
the name
yeah.
of the podcast. And if you're going to have a podcast called Whiskey
Okay.
Business, then you have to have the whiskey. That's why you see so many bottles around here.
Excuse
That's the only
me.
reason.
What?
You've had these many bottles of whiskey before you started this podcast.
Yeah.
She's calling your bluff.
Which just seemed like a good natural progression. I
Yeah,
might as well
as
do a
the years go
podcast,
by.
right?
Well, I'm surprised you
You
hadn't
know
done
what?
it before.
You realize that when we get done with this, it'll be listened to by dozens.
So they're going to buy your Kessler whiskey,
They're not. Well, actually, this was a gift. This was a gift on my
like the other bottles.
like some of the other bottles. No, a lot of these bottles I have purchased, but some of these bottles have been gifts. Yes.
Man, I can imagine the money he spent on that.
Yeah.
You claim this on your taxes. You probably can tell you
I can.
to the penny.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how much I spent on whiskey last year. If you.
Oh, I don't want to know.
No, you really don't. You
I
really
don't.
want to know.
I don't.
What I want to know as we sit here and talk. First of all, do you have any more questions about what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Does it really? Yeah. Is it going to
Yeah,
be fun?
yeah,
Because
well-
I've always wanted the opportunity, and when you said you were coming up for Greek Easter,
Well, I was coming up for you too.
well, yeah, I know.
Not just the podcast.
Yeah, not the podcast. No, my
Yeah,
birthday.
your
My birthday
birthday.
was on.
That's more important than the podcast.
My birthday was on Sunday, Easter Sunday, for everybody else on the 21st.
All right, get to the point.
I turned 60 years old. You're the one that said you came up for my birthday. I'm trying to explain to the people.
Well, you already did. They know that.
Now they do because I just told them. And you said I didn't come up just for Easter. I came up for your birthday.
Okay, continue.
All right. Why am I yelling?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Not the first time.
It isn't the first time.
Won't be the last
It won't
time.
be the last time.
Oh, that's for sure.
Okay. So let's start somewhere at the beginning, if you
All
don't
right.
mind. All right. I was born in Gary, Indiana. According to my notes, I was born in Gary, Indiana, poor and Asian. Care to comment?
Poor and Asian.
And Asian? No, not true?
Hell no. Poor and Asian. They mixed up the babies.
They mixed up the babies. No, I got that
No.
wrong, obviously.
I don't know where you got that from.
Why were we in Gary, Indiana? Why'd we settle in Gary, Indiana? How'd we get there?
Because your father wanted to move there.
Move from there from where?
Oh, let me see. From Gary, Indiana. Where did we live?
When you guys were first married, where were you
well,
living?
there in Gary, Indiana. That's where we first settled.
Okay. But you got married in Steubenville.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I've seen pictures of when my sister Stamy and I went to Greece to go see our father. There was one day where he, surprisingly to both of us, brought out your wedding album. And there were these magnificent pictures of the wedding in Steubenville. And tell me if this is true or not. I was told that there were no caterers or anything like that. Everybody brought something. Everybody brought food, and everybody brought something to the wedding to eat and share. Is that true?
No, it was catered.
It was catered?
Yeah.
All right. So that's a myth.
It
I was
catered by your
under the
grandfather.
impression that there was this beautiful
Oh,
sense of
we get on that
community
subject.
and that everybody brought food in to the church.
No, it was catered.
By whom?
I don't
It doesn't
remember.
really matter.
No,
you
it
just
doesn't.
ruined that whole beautiful memory I had
keep track
of this sense of community
Why is it talking about all this in the
that
past?
that I thought existed because it looked like a great party.
It was a beautiful wedding.
How many people were there?
Over 300.
Over 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
This is you got married when 1957, and I came along in 59.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, yeah, you
Yeah.
think so? Yeah.
You did.
Did you know what you're gonna have?
Yeah, I did.
You did? You knew back then that you were gonna have a son? Now, did
yes,
you
I-
feel you were gonna have a son, or they told you were gonna have a son?
No, I felt it because I worked till I was up to 9 months pregnant, and all of a sudden, at my 9th month, my stomach popped out, and I felt it that it was going to be a
You
boy.
didn't even show till the 9th month?
Yep.
Really?
Well, 8th.
Okay, still though.
Yeah.
And you worked
Yep.
right up to it. See, there's so many things I want to get into, and that's one of the things I do want to get into. You've always worked. You worked till you were 80 years old.
81.
81. Okay. But you've always worked, whether it was full-time or part-time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What did you do when you were pregnant with me? What were you doing?
I was working at a Alfish furniture store as a secretary. Mm-hmm. And then I worked as a cashier at Sears and Roebuck.
I do vaguely remember
Yeah.
you working at Sears and Roebuck. This is when we moved
Cigarette
from
counter.
Yeah, you worked in Tobacco Land.
Well,
They called it Tobacco Land back
okay,
then.
tobacco land.
It was Tobacco Land. Back when
What's the-
smoking was cool and hip and good for you back in the
Okay.
60s. I remember they had a huge displays everywhere, and there was walls and walls of cigarettes, and people would buy them by the carton because they were affordable back
Yeah,
then.
it was cheaper.
Yeah, and I remember that my first one of my favorite Christmas presents from you was a carton of Lucky Strikes. I was only 6, but I remember. I'm kidding. Don't look at me like that. It's a joke.
It better be a joke, because I don't remember that.
I remember you working at Tobacco Land at Sears and Roebuck. Yeah, because we moved to Dalton, Illinois.
Right.
Now, why Dalton?
Because your father wanted to move out there, and we saw a nice house, and we moved in there.
It was a nice neighborhood, as I
Right.
recall. Now, I've been back to Dalton since then, and not so nice anymore. But at the time, it was a beautiful little suburb, right?
Yes, it
I remember
was.
the Joneses, literally. I know that
Yeah.
lived next door to us, and the Carottos lived a couple houses
Correct.
down.
You got a good memory.
Yeah, I have a good memory about that. But there are also things that I don't remember. That I was kind of hoping if we chatted tonight that you could fill me in on a couple of things. But first, let me ask you this before we go into growing up in Dalton. What was it like growing up in Steubenville back in the 50s? What was that town like? Because when we lived there, it was still kind of a thriving steel
yeah.
town. And but then right around the time I went to college is when everything started to go bottom up. The mills were closing.
Mills were closing.
We had a huge recession, and things started to fall apart in Steubenville. But growing up in Steubenville in the 50s, was it just amazing?
Yes, it was.
In what way? I mean, tell me what downtown was like.
Booming.
Booming with
Stores were open. I mean, it was nice.
Yeah.
People were able to go shopping.
Did you have a lot of Greeks on the street where,
Oh, yeah.
where you lived?
Oh, yeah.
On 4th Street?
Surprised they didn't call it a little Greek town.
Yeah, well, there was a melting pot of people
Oh, yeah.
in that
A
town.
lot of Greeks.
Because when I moved there, I remember downtown being thriving. Papu, your father, worked in the mill, and Yaya was just a dutiful housewife.
Right, and she worked in an Italian bakery.
She did? I didn't know that.
Yes, she did. She made donuts.
Yaya made donuts?
Made donuts, and every day when she would come home, she would have a box of sugar donuts.
That she would come home with every day.
Uh-huh.
Oh, then I always wonder.
She would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, walk to the Italian bakery, make her donuts, finish her shift, and come home with a box of donuts.
There you go.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How long did she have that job?
Oh, quite a long time.
Yeah.
And then one time she went to work early in the morning, and
Go ahead.
can I say it?
Yeah.
And this guy came up to her and wanted her purse. And she told him, not for me. So she took her purse and she swung it at him.
Yeah.
And he took off. He got it from the...
Well, Yaya was not a small woman.
No, she was big.
She was a
A hefty woman.
She was a hefty woman, and she, yeah,
Strong.
So that was just bad judgment on his part.
Oh, yeah.
The nickname of our Yaya growing up was
Strong Arm Stella.
Strong Arm Stella.
She was a strong arm
She
Stella.
was a strong arm
Oh,
Stella. Yeah, she was a big woman. She was a large, and when she got mad,
She got mad.
well, yeah, and did she get mad a lot because it was you? How many kids total? You?
5.
5. And, 3 other sisters and Uncle Chris, who came late.
Right.
Yeah. Was he a surprise baby?
Yeah, he was a change of life baby.
Change of life baby. So,
Don't ask me what
and look, I know what change of life is. I guess I'm kind of impressed that Yaya and Papu were still,
That they were.
yeah, we're still active at that point. Because how old was Yaya when she had Uncle Chris?
Oh, God, she was in her late 40s.
Yeah. Well, today people don't even balk at that, but back then, that was late in life to have a child, and he was huge. Uncle Chris. 6'5", 6'6".
6'6", I believe.
6'6".
Yeah.
He was a big
tall.
boy and the only boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like at that point, having a new baby brother at that point in life? How did the sisters react to that?
Well,
Did it change life as you know it?
we had to take extra care of him because he was the baby of the family and the only son, and we had to be careful that nothing happened to him. And I was elected to be his so-called guardian, watching me. Every time I would take him out in the stroller, nothing happened to him. Yeah.
Why you? Because Gina was older than you, right? It was
Good question. I don't know.
Gina, you, then
Angie,
Angie, then
Nikki.
Nikki, and then Uncle Chris. But you were delegated with the responsibility. So you've always been delegated with the responsibility.
Yeah.
I might be biased, but I think that when I look at the aunts overall, you've always been the responsible one, in my opinion. And with all due respect to my family, the most sane one. And that ain't saying a lot.
Oh, be careful what you say, Dino. They might hear this.
They might hear that. I'm talking about you, crazy lady. You're a little.
Yeah, I know. I do crazy things.
You do crazy things over the years. Yeah, but growing up in Steubenville had to be pretty amazing. Where'd you meet Dad?
Oh, now that's a long story.
I got time.
It's going to take a long.
Well, give me
How long
the
is this
Reader's
podcast?
Digest
Longer
version.
than Holy Wednesday
Yeah.
service.
All right, once again, you've already busted up one myth for me, okay?
What myth?
What, the one I thought where everybody just brought something to the wedding reception and there was
No,
a big party.
your grandfather had it catered.
Okay, all right. I thought it was something a little bit more romantic and old school than that. That's what I thought. But is this true that Yaya, your mother, my grandmother, actually babysat my father
Yes.
when they were on the island
Yes.
together? Because they both came from the same island, different villages.
Yes.
But that Yaya actually babysat my dad when he was growing up on the island. So
Yes.
she knew him since he
She
was
knew him.
an infant. Okay. So was this, for lack of a better term, kind of a let's put these two kids together, kind of an arranged thing, or did you have a say in it? Because Dad was a handsome man.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember that actor, Jeff Chandler?
I'll have to.
You're asking the
IMDb
youngest
him.
kid in the room if he remembers the actor Jeff
no, I
Chandler.
didn't mean-
You didn't ask me. You didn't ask John Whitney.
I
You asked
appreciate
the
it.
millennial. He thinks Jeff Chandler sells insurance
Mm-hmm.
off of
No,
Henderson
I'm
Road.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
He gave me
was
a great deal.
He was, yeah, Jeff Chandler.
Jeff Chandler, yes.
Yeah, he looked just like the actor Jeff Chandler. Very
Yeah.
good-looking man. And he had come over with his brother, Theo Dennis.
Uh-huh.
And they came to a... There you go.
Oh, John Whitney just gave her a picture.
It looks
Show
like
the hands,
the
Ray.
dude from
Yeah.
Psycho.
Huh?
I know it's not
Anthony
but,
Perkins?
Yeah, it looks like a little Perkinsy there.
No, he
A
doesn't.
little bit in that picture.
No, he doesn't.
Let me see.
Oh, maybe like your dad. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
with the big shades.
the bone structure of the face. Yeah, actually, I think my dad's better looking than Jeff Chandler.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a good-looking man.
Yeah, he was a very good looking man. So tell me, you were saying how'd you guys meet and get?
They came to a wedding, Angela Kayavis's, God rest her soul, wedding. I was a bridesmaid.
Uh-huh.
And we were introduced. And then he went back to Gary, Indiana. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he was interested or wrote a letter to the Angie by mistake. I'm not sure.
By mistake? Are you
I don't know,
sure?
anyway, so
Or was he
anyway-
just- or was he just playing one
I
sister
don't- I
against
can't
the
remember.
other?
I don't know. I can't quite remember how the situation
The
went.
odds were good.
But anyway, I said, wound up.
Poor sisters.
Hey,
I
one
can
of
land
them's got to
them.
land.
Anyway, he came back and got a little more interested in me. One thing led to another. We wrote to each other. Came back to Steubenville and got engaged. Got married.
How long was the engagement?
Not long.
Not long?
No.
And then you got married.
Yeah.
And
So,
then
so you wrote letters, but he was in Greece, and you were
No,
in.
he was
he
in
lived in
Gary.
Gary.
Oh,
That's
Gary.
how I
Okay,
knew
okay,
him,
okay,
Gary,
gotcha.
Indiana.
Okay, sorry.
Apparently,
Painting.
as a poor,
But you didn't have
small
Facebook
Asian
back
child.
then.
I was working for a painting company, so that's when we moved to Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
That's where you were born.
Did we live in an apartment?
Yes,
Did it have
on Maryland
a
Street.
long flight of steps?
Yes.
Yeah?
Not a long,
But it was
just
a big
yeah.
flight of steps. You know, I remember those steps.
Do you
That's
really?
like my earliest memory of being a child. I must have been maybe 2. How long did we live in Gary?
Not long.
Not long, till I was about 2
Well,
years.
you know, he was here illegally. We had to go to
My
the
father was here illegally
Yeah, we
from
had to go to
Greece in the
immigration
50s.
and they-
What? I remember. Of course, he was here illegally.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
not only
they all
that,
were.
And we had to go to the immigration, and they gave me papers to make so I could sign to make him a citizen, and we had to go to Windsor, Ontario, to the Greek embassy there, American embassy, so he can become an American citizen. And I lost the papers. I threw them by accident in the garbage. Yeah, oops.
Yeah, and then what happened then?
I had to go back to the immigration department
And start all
in
over?
Chicago and start all over.
Was he
and then-
pissed?
Was he what?
Was he pissed?
I would say he was more than pissed.
So
So I did the papers all over again, and I thought, should I or shouldn't I?
you know, one of the other memories I have is a lot of. It's so funny to talk about illegals in the past, like we are right now, in this present time where that is such a huge political factor. Mm-hmm. But I remember when there were illegals, Greeks, in our house, hiding in the basement when immigration would come knocking on the
remember
door.
that?
Yes,
No,
I
no,
remember.
no.
I remember seeing illegal Greeks scattering like rats in the basement, hiding
They were
behind
in the
bars.
basement?
In
Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Stamy? Where is she?
She's listening in the
Stamey's
background.
Dino's sister,
Yeah, my
sitting back
sister.
there.
Stamey's my sister. Yes. I remember that.
Yeah,
And I remember, and if I remember correctly, I remember you being the cool, calm, collected one when they came knocking at the door that didn't blink an eye as far as tipping your hand that anybody was in the house.
They were parked across the street. And then they came knocking at the door. I want to know if I had any illegal people living. I says, no, sir. No, sir.
They didn't ask to come in the house?
No.
No.
That's where you get your poker face, huh?
Yeah, she's got a poker face, trust me.
They came in and I says, oh, God, no, sir. No. It's nobody by here by that name. And they were all in the basement.
They had a list of names of people?
Oh, yeah.
Because I maybe my mind has exaggerated it, but I remember there being like 3 to 5 guys that just went every which way and started hiding. My sister's nodding in the background like, yeah, she remembers it too. In the basement.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Why was our house to hide out at? Or they just happened to be there?
Well, there was this boat that docked in Chicago Harbor.
A boat. Go on.
And they got off the boat. And I guess your dad knew them, so he told them to come to the house.
From the boat.
Yeah, and they came.
Did they actually stay in our house? Did they sleep in our house? That I don't remember.
No.
No, they just came to eat, drink, and scatter from immigration whenever they came a knocking on the door. That's crazy.
Early 60s?
Oh yeah, this has got to be mid. This is
It's a wonder I didn't get caught, and they could have arrested me for aiding and abiding.
Aiding and abetting.
And abetting, whatever.
Or abiding, if you want to call it. Or
Abetting.
abiding, either way.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a
both terms work
felony,
for me.
hiding somebody.
Sure.
Wow.
Well, one good thing I got out of that was a set of china. 12.
You got a set of china.
Yeah, it was from the boat. Your father. The china that my daughter has in her dining room.
Did she know that? Do you know that
Yeah.
story?
Was it a gift?
No, they just brought it to the house. Set of a service for 12. Beautiful china.
And my sister has it.
Yeah, she has it. I gave it to her.
You don't need any china here.
I don't need any china here, but how come I didn't get anything off the boat?
Your father.
I got my father. Yeah, I got my father off the boat. What a bargain that turned out to be.
Well, then when we went to Windsor, Canada, to get to the to go to the embassy, we got lost. Wound up in Montreal. Boy, did he cuss then.
Man. I remember Dalton, and one of the things, and this might be a little hard for you, and I apologize in advance.
Oh, you gonna ask me something?
One of the things I got to ask you, because because there are black holes, Mother, that I don't recall, and I've always wanted to ask and I wanted to know. I remember part of our time in Dalton, I was very ill.
Yeah.
How old was I when I got double pneumonia?
7.
7 years old. I had double pneumonia and a right collapsed lung, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right?
Both lungs.
Both lungs collapsed. Once again, I thought it was just the right one. The two. I always thought that the left lung was,
That's
powered
the second
up.
myth busted.
That was a
myth busted.
terrible part of my
Two.
life.
What happened? How did I get so sick?
You got from a cold.
And then it just progressed.
Yeah. And you were coughing and just it's terrible. I remember we took you to the hospital in the Children's Hospital in Chicago. They had you in a tent.
Oxygen tent.
Yeah.
He said as he smoked a cigarette, with now knowing that he had 2 collapsed lungs and not just one. Go
That's
on.
fine.
You said 7?
7 years old. Yeah.
7.
7. Yeah, I remember being in the oxygen tent. I remember being in Children's Hospital. I remember missing a lot of school. I think pretty much most of the second grade.
Right.
First or
you had a
second?
tutor too.
Had a
Come
tutor
to the house.
that came to the house. And once again, either clarify or debunk the myth. Did they tell you that I wasn't going to get any better? Did they tell you that I was going to die at one point?
No, but it was close. They were trying, giving you injections of penicillin and so forth and so on. But you pulled through.
I remember the lung capacity being so poor that I couldn't even bring up my own phlegm.
Right.
I remember you.
I had to, they showed me how to turn you over on your stomach and hit you on your back.
And kind of
Six.
knead
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
the
pound you on.
on the back and knead the
So
phlegm
the
up so I
phlegm
could
would come up.
expectorate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that was a hard ride, I would imagine,
Yeah,
for
it
you.
was. It was very.
Then is there anything else I don't recall about that time? I mean, all of a sudden I got better,
You
and
got better.
then we packed up and moved to Greece.
That we did.
Yeah. Well, now were you on board for that decision?
No.
No, I didn't think you were. Yeah, that was Dad's idea, right?
Right.
Why? Why did he want to go back to the old
Because
country?
at that time he complained that he had something with his eyes that he couldn't work, so he decided, the best place to go was to Greece, back to his hometown.
Back to the island. I remember we took a boat.
Yeah, Queen
Of all
Queen
things,
Mary.
yeah, we took the Queen Mary from New York, a 12-day cruise, if you will.
Cruise?
Well, I mean, it was
A Disney cruise.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
no.
it was a cruise ship. It was a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I remember that there was a movie theater in there. I even remember it's so weird, the shit you remember. I remember the movie that was playing in the theater on the boat.
Titanic.
No, Titanic. No, it was James Garner in The Pink Jungle.
Did it star that actor? What was that
No, not
actor?
Jeff Chandler,
Jeff
James
Chandler.
Garner
Okay,
in the movie
right.
The Pink Jungle, which was about a cosmetic company, and for some reason they were in Africa. Don't ask me. I just remember that
And your
movie.
sister was in a play. She was remember Stamy in a costume?
Yeah, we both were.
Yeah.
I was dressed up like an Indian. I have a picture actually upstairs of
She
me
was dressed up in
with no shirt and a little headdress of some sort.
I don't remember how you were dressed.
Yeah.
And this is so you're what now? 8, 9?
I don't know. Was I? I
Yeah,
think 9.
nine.
And
9
Stamey's
years.
how much younger than
Stamey
you?
is 3 years
younger.
younger than me. 4 years younger than me.
6-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stamey was the one that everybody thought was Asian.
What? No, not. Well, she looked.
She did. She looked Asian when we were growing
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
she did. She had like those Chinese eyes.
She had the Chinese eyes. Yes. Well, and my mother does not mean that in a politically incorrect way.
You're allowed to say that
I
if
think
you're-
Chinese eyes are
Or,
Asian
you
eyes.
know, all right, Asian.
Yeah, Asian.
Sorry,
eyes.
Stamy. Still look like a Chinaman.
I don't think anybody's going to call you out. Mom.
No, you're allowed to
It's
say that
all
if
right.
you're a grandma.
It's okay.
I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Well, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, she looked. Wow. Okay. She looked like Chinese,
We
Japanese.
gotcha.
Now
We
she's
still
not
got it.
Japanese. There's a big difference.
Oh, her
For
eyes
those
were.
of you who are Chinese or Japanese,
Her
I
eyes
know
were
that there's a difference.
slanted.
Yeah.
Remember, Stamy?
Let's just make sure we don't go anywhere near Africa.
Oh my gosh.
No.
So we lived on an island. We lived in Icaria. And then in the fall we would go to Greece. In the fall we would go back to Athens, back to school. I remember those years. I don't need to go through all that stuff, but I do remember that at one point, Dad was not going to pay the tuition for me to continue to go to an American school.
Right, the American Academy.
And that's one of the first times. And this is where we're just a whole different level of respect, because I love you and I respect you to the ends of the earth. But this
Really?
was one of the first moments I remember as a young child where you put your foot down, and at a time where women did not put their foot down in a marriage. This is still the 60s. And you said, when my dad suggested that I could start off and go to Greek school, you said, no, I'll send him back to the States before I let that happen.
True.
And you did. You sent me back to Steubenville at 11 years of age to live with Yaya and Papu and Uncle Chris.
Mm-hmm.
How tough was that,
Very.
to let your son go? Thinking that it's for the best. But I would have to imagine that a mother's nurturing and a mother's concern that a mother would always want to keep her children as close to her as possible all the time. So how did you make that decision with any type of clear conscience?
Well, for one thing, you were very unhappy.
I was.
Very unhappy.
I hated it there.
I know, and that was one of the reasons why I sent you to your grandparents. And I just
I hated it there. It was better for Stamey because she was just starting school.
yeah.
And-
Plus, she spoke the language.
Yeah.
But after you left, there were other factors that were involved.
Such as. And I don't want to push you. If you don't want to say, you don't have to
No,
say.
I don't want to say it.
Okay, but I know that there were other factors.
Yeah.
For another podcast, another time.
Another podcast.
No.
Next Easter. Here we go.
Next Easter, when we do,
That's a
when we
great
do part
tease.
2. When we do the Christine Tripodis part 2. No, and I went back and I lived with Yaya and Papu for,
Yeah.
what, 2 years before you and Stamey came
No, a
home?
year.
Huh?
Wasn't it a year?
No, it was not a year.
2 years?
It was closer to 2 years, almost 2.5. Because when Stamey came over, when Stamey and you came back, Stamey was as much of a Greek girl as a Greek girl could be. You said she knew the language. She could barely speak English.
Oh, that's true, too.
When she came back to the
God, my
States.
little DP.
Yeah, your little DP is what you called her.
And what does that?
Well, we called this place when she didn't speak any English.
No.
And what does DP mean?
Well,
Is it derogatory?
It is a yes. It's a somewhat derogatory term.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is, I don't know. Am I the only one that
Shout
doesn't
it
know
out,
this?
Deli. Shout it out.
Or what does it rhyme with?
I don't remember what it stands for.
Displaced
Displaced
person.
Displaced person.
Yeah,
Okay.
she didn't
okay.
Yeah.
speak English. When she did, it was broken. I thought, oh God.
Yeah, and she, very smart. She
picked it up.
She assimilated quickly.
Was put in a special phonics club, class.
Club?
Plumbing
like the
class.
Italian club?
Here's a special.
She learned her,
Here's a special
you know.
phonics club. Yeah,
But she did very well.
she did very well, and I did very well when I went back to school because the school in Athens was a little more advanced,
Very
and the things that
advanced.
they were teaching in the
Remember when you got lost?
when I got lost.
You got on the wrong bus?
I got on the wrong bus. Yes, I do remember.
Remember that?
Yes, I got on the wrong bus.
Yeah, we're looking for him, and I
I'm
was-
9 years old.
And this is in Greece.
in Athens,
Yeah,
In
and
Athens.
I'm lying. The bus driver is like, before it's all said and done, you know, I did remember my address, Mesogion Oglonda,
Yeah.
Mesogion
God, I
80,
panicked.
and eventually, what did you think happened then?
I didn't know. We called the school,
The school.
the bus company, and I remember the bus driver says, "Well, we dropped off all the kids." I said, "Yeah, but where's my son?" And finally, we picked him up.
Yeah, I remember getting a unintentional tour of Athens and being like, "This
That's
isn't
expensive
familiar."
these days, man.
And I kept thinking at some point he's going to realize there's only one kid on the bus that should have been off the bus by now, and questions would be asked. I don't recall being panicked either.
No, you weren't.
No, I was very calm about the whole thing.
I was the one that was hysterical.
Yeah. And you're right. I hated it there.
Oh,
I
you were
hated it
miserable.
there. There were so few good memories of being there because I was of the age where, I was starting a childhood in a suburb of Chicago, and now I'm on this island in Greece in the late '60s where if you have electricity in the house, which we did, you were a Rockefeller. I mean, it was crazy. And I remember you packing certain things from America that were important to me. That I don't even know if my father thought at one point, that's junk. We don't need to take it. But I remember taking 45s and my comic books. And my comic books. Yeah, I wish I had those comic books now. But when I took some of my comic books home back to Steubenville, guess who threw them away? Yaya.
Oh, she did.
Yaya threw my comic books away. Yeah.
Stiff arm Stella.
Not stiff arm,
What
strong
was that?
arm. Strong arm.
Okay, all right,
But you're
all
right.
right, yeah.
I did get stiff. For all I know, there could have been a a Superman Action Comics 1 in the
Oh,
mix.
man.
Well, I know. So that,
We'd all be rolling
Oh,
in
he had
podcast
great
glory.
comic books.
I loved my comic.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
he
I
loved
loved
his
comic
comic
books, and I
books.
loved reading, and I mean, those are my escapes. I lived without you guys for 2 years in Yaya's house, which was a very dominating home. I mean,
know.
she took it upon herself to make sure that nothing was going to happen to me, and her way of making sure that nothing happened to me was to not let me do anything at all except go to the library, which was across the street, and go to the movies on Saturdays downtown. When I would go down with Papu, in the beginning I would just go with Papu and we'd go to George's coffee shop. He'd give me a couple bucks to go to the Five and Dimes, and then he'd say, meet me back here in 2 hours. I'd meet Papu back there in 2 hours. His eyes would be all red and glazed over from the other stops that he had made, and then we would walk back home from downtown, and he would take his cane and he would point into the cracks of the sidewalk, and he'd find the mint leaves that were growing in the cracks of the sidewalk, and he would say, "Hey boy, get the mint," and he would take the mint and he would rub it on his mouth and swallow the mint so that Yaya wouldn't recognize the alcohol in his breath, which was stupid because she knew everything every step of the way. But he did his due diligence in trying to hide it. But yeah, then Yaya would let me go to the movies because they weren't too far away, and I would go see double features at the Capitol and at the Grand Theater, and that's where I think my love of books and movies came, intentionally or unintentionally. That's how it happened.
And I've heard that story several times from you. That 2-year window has shaped your life forever.
Well, it shaped it, and it kind of saved it until my mother and my sister came. Then we all lived in my Yaya's house. And when I say it was a dominating home, not only was I dominated and ruled over, and I don't say that in a mean way. This is how she thought it should be. She was doing what she thought was the right thing to do. But you were under her roof at that point too, and you had to follow her rules.
Yeah.
And so did Stamey, to the point where you finally scraped enough money together, and we moved to Kendall Avenue in Steubenville, Ohio. And this is one of the things that I wanted to get to. You, dear mother of mine.
And he sighed a sigh of relief.
What side of relief?
Moving.
When we moved, I think it was a sigh of relief for everybody. I even think
Yeah.
Yaya had a sigh of relief
Yeah,
because
it
she didn't
was,
feel the responsibility anymore. I
was
think
like,
everybody
oh my-
relaxed. But my point being now, it's the 70s. It's the 70s, and you're a single mom, which was not a common thing like today's single mom. You were a single mom in the 70s. And you did it. You did it. We had a house that we rented, and you worked at a doctor's office, and you scraped and saved. And I remember you having a Christmas club that you would put $5 in every week, or anything extra that you could put in there to save at Christmas time. You, my dear, dear mother, who I tease relentlessly, were an amazing mom.
Oh,
You were a single mom that was doing single things, living in a community where single moms were not the norm.
No.
And yet we wanted for nothing. I mean, at least so it seemed. You made sure that we had new clothes on Easter, that there was a new suit at Easter, or new shoes. I mean, I don't know.
There was a Jewish store. Wish I could remember his name.
They had a sale on Easter. They didn't celebrate.
They're open.
Yeah.
Well, this gentleman was so nice to me, and I told him I wanted to come and buy a new suit for my son. I said, I don't have money, but I'll be willing to pay you $5 a week when I get paid. He says, pick out the suit that you want. Remember that suit I bought you?
Yeah, I remember a couple of the suits you bought me. At the time, I'm sure they were quite fashionable, but when I look at the pictures, I've seen couches that had a better pattern.
Then, Dino, they were nice suits.
There were two stores. One was the Fillmore,
The Fillmore.
and there was Myron Stone. Now, which one did you go to?
Myron Stone.
Myron Stone. Myron Stone gave you the installment plan on a suit for me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
$5. And then the Fillmore, thanks to Dave, too. Yeah, they were good.
you were you're just an amazing, and still are an amazing mother. You never stopped working. You worked when we were in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you worked. Did you work in Greece?
No.
No, you didn't work in Greece. Didn't you try to get a job though in Athens?
No.
Wasn't that another myth debunked? Another myth debunked. Didn't you try to get a job? Is this number 5? This is the 5th myth
think
debunked.
only
Didn't you try to
3
get a
or
job
4.
with the government? And if you would have gotten a job with the government, my tuition to the school would have been free.
No, Dino.
That's what I was told.
I remember that story. You told me that too.
Did I
Debunked.
try to get a job at STAME? No.
My sister's
Stamey
nodding
says yes.
She nodded yes.
My sister's nodding yes.
I don't recall
So
that.
take one debunked myth off the list. That's true. She just doesn't remember.
I don't remember that.
And that was the whole deal, because it was like if you worked for the government, the tuition to the American Community School in Athens was tuition free. If you didn't, you had to pay a tuition, and it was rather hefty tuition at the time. And Dad, who
I do not remember.
Was very
that,
tight with
Dino.
money,
I'm sorry about
did
that.
not want to pay that tuition. He agreed to the year 1 and said he wasn't going to do it a second year, which is why he said, "Hey, you could just go to Greek school."
I don't remember that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, you know what? Just like I have black spots, and sometimes I think I purposely blank things out, I'm sure you've done the same. I'm sure that there are painful moments that you just don't want to remember. And that's perfectly fine and natural. I think we all do it. You know? We all do it. I mean, there's things sometimes we sit around talk, family talks, and I hear things and like, I don't remember that. And Stamey remembers it. Stamey remembers it clear as a bell. And I don't recall a lot of things. You know, and
No, that I'm sorry. I don't recall
no,
that.
well, but
working,
but it makes
quite a
sense,
bit.
doesn't it? I mean, if I was going to school tuition free, I would have never left Greece. So I don't know. Everything for a reason, Ma. There was a reason I left. There was a reason. If I would have stayed there, who knows which direction life would have gone? I have no idea. You have no idea. Everything worked
Well-
out the way it was supposed to work out.
Yeah, well,
Because you know, while I didn't have the greatest relationship with my father, I have this amazing relationship with my mother. And yeah, I do. You know I love you.
yeah, I know.
know,
I know
I think-
at
I
times
think,
you get aggravated.
Huh?
I know at times
What
you get
aggravates you about me? Go ahead.
You're smoking.
I smoke. Yeah. You think I smoke too much?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you ever smoke?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I did. When you took sick, I smoked an awful lot.
Okay. Which
When-
makes
when
no
both
sense.
your lungs
When both
collapsed.
my lungs collapsed. My mother smoked a lot. Yeah.
I did. That's the hospital's black. What did I smoke?
I remember you hiding the package of Salem 100s.
Oh, there we go with the Salem 100s. I don't remember the Salem.
Once again, another spot that you've just conveniently blacked out. A package of Salem 100s that sat underneath the towels in the drawer on Kendall Avenue. And when things would get really, really stressed and tight,
Salem.
you would sneak a cigarette. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I was.
But you
And
said-
it was a lot more. I mean, it's still very popular now, but back then, I mean, doctors were smoking in the hospital.
Yeah.
You worked for Dr. Dreyer, and he had ashtrays in the waiting room.
Yeah.
There were ashtrays in
well,
the waiting
back
room.
in Indiana, I worked for a cardiac surgeon, and he died of a heart attack, and
Yeah.
he smoked.
Because he smoked. I heard that from somebody that also worked for a cardiac
Not
surgeon.
during
who
a
smoked.
procedure, I hope.
No, right after
okay.
his procedure,
Oh,
went home
Yeah.
and was on the couch and had a massive
I mean,
heart
this
attack.
is a cheap out, but I was talking to a friend's wife who worked for a cardiac surgeon, and he smoked, and she asked him the same question. You're a cardiac surgeon. Why do you smoke? And he went like this. He goes, "The damage is already done. So how much more he continued to smoke
Speaking
after
of
that?"
which, aren't you due for a physical?
I am due for a physical.
He does go. I'll vouch for him. He goes every year for his birthday. He
When are
tells
you
me about
going?
it.
So you know what? I'm gonna, after you leave and my blood pressure goes down, I'm probably gonna make that appointment and go get my physical. But
let things level out a little bit.
what are you looking at, Ma?
Jamie. I want to know, why is it that you can't try to stop smoking?
I have tried.
No, you haven't.
I have tried.
What have you tried?
I have tried hypnosis.
The patch?
I have tried the patch. I have tried.
Did you lose some?
I have tried.
I thought you lost some.
I'm answering your question. What do you guys do?
I'm just
Oh,
make sure
he's just checking my feet. I mean, he's checking to see.
Your feet okay?
she's got a footstool. I'm just checking on the footstool.
Okay.
What else have
I
you
tried hypnosis, acupuncture, the patch, cold turkey. I've done it.
When,
I've
when
had
have you tried cold turkey?
Oh, I don't know.
The
years
day after
ago.
Thanksgiving.
Yay,
Ta-da, ba-da-bunch.
boom. Oh, yeah.
No, I just.
Yeah, wild turkey.
I tried. Jamie and I
The
both
peanut
tried to
gallery
quit
says
smoking
wild
for a while.
turkey.
Do you smoke, Jamie?
Yes,
Why?
because of Dino.
Yeah, throw me
God.
under the bus. Right.
I didn't start smoking until I met him.
That's not true. Don't listen to him.
No, that's my pet peeve with you.
Yeah.
Just to stop smoking.
And the drinking or just the smoking?
I would rather take the smoking than the drinking.
You're okay with my drinking?
At a moderate.
Where do I get this from? My father wasn't a big drinker. Was he?
No.
No, but my grandfather.
Oh, what your grandfather did, you have to copy.
What? What?
Just because your grandfather liked to drink, that doesn't mean it gives you the.
Well, there's a lot of things that are supposedly bred in the bone, but you know, I don't have
Yeah,
a drinking
but,
problem because
no,
drinking's no
no.
problem. No, I don't have an.
I just want to see you smoke less and less.
Yeah, but I'm 60 years old.
That gives you the right to smoke.
No,
the way
it doesn't.
You do,
But
because you turned 60.
I've seen a lot of people give up a lot of vices in their life at a certain age because they think it's going to extend their lives, and I've seen them drop dead 2-3 years later. I lost count of how many people have supposedly done the right things
when
in
you
order.
go for your physical, I'd like to see the report that comes back.
I will give you the report. I will give you as good a report on my physical as you give me on yours.
What I
I
just was at the I was at the cardiologist.
Now
Jamie
you-
told you.
Now you do. Now you do. You haven't always been honest about how the things have been because, and once again, you don't want to worry me. You don't want to worry your daughter.
And I got a good report.
You have,
from
yeah.
the primary. Well, a couple of things, but
Yeah, because now we got you cornered. Yeah, but there was a time where you would not be completely honest about
I
things.
don't like to worry my kids.
Yeah. So you don't like to worry your kids, but then when you
Yeah,
do,
but this is worse, Dino.
it's not worse. It's worrisome, and it's not. But it's not
is
worse.
worrisome.
It's not worse.
I mean, you saw what happened to your cousin, and
Yeah, I saw what happened to my cousin. He quit smoking 2 months 2 months before his heart attack, and then he died. Oh, next. Oh,
All right,
no further questions.
Well,
for this
we're not going to solve this, but there's been a submission from the gallery.
What?
You know, we love Dino here,
From
but
the
we'd like to know any more pet peeves, Mrs.
pet
Tripodis, that
peeves.
you have of our friend Dino here.
I don't.
That's it. Just smoking. Everything. He's perfect in every other way.
How about his gambling habits?
He doesn't gamble.
We're thinking more. Maybe. Let's see. Clean. Does he do laundry?
Oh yeah, that
Come on,
he does.
Let's keep it a little more
Yeah,
tame here.
I'm dying to do his laundry, but I'm not allowed.
They used to do my laundry all the time.
I know, but I'm not. You won't
You're not
let
allowed
me
to go.
now.
You're not allowed to go up and down the steps now.
Well, you can take me down the steps. I can stay downstairs.
You can stay
have a-
downstairs the rest of the trip if you keep this up.
You have a TV down there, so while the machine is going, I could stay down there and watch TV.
Yeah,
She's right.
Huh, Stamy?
And play poker.
that's true.
There'll be a
That's
few
true.
other people down there with you playing poker,
I
listening
do.
to
What do you mean I don't?
records.
You know I gamble.
Well, you're not addicted to it. I mean, it's not that you're.
No.
Well,
He's
you,
not.
You gambled to
To what?
Excess.
Shut
Not
up, Jamie.
excess.
To excess
no.
for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, for
only.
entertainment purposes.
Yes,
You like it.
I
It's
find it very
solid.
entertaining. I find it very
It's a lot
relaxing.
of fun, and not only that, I
And
mean,
so
I
relaxing.
you
blow off
gamble
steam.
with your friends.
I do gamble with my friends, and having them as friends is a gamble. Trust me.
Yeah, but they look after you, that you know.
Yeah, they do. I have good friends.
That I have
What
to
else?
agree.
That's a good follow up. But does he call you often?
Why are you guys poking the tiger here?
Why not?
I call her often.
Does he call you enough?
What? Yes and no.
Okay.
There'll be a week that'll.
I'm not trying
There's
to.
never
I'm not
a
trying to
whole
poke
week
the
where I don't
bear.
talk
Will
to
you let me finish?
Sure, go ahead, finish.
There'll be a week that maybe he'll call me maybe twice a day, twice a week.
Okay.
But then
That's about what I talk to my mom.
I think I talk to him. I call him more than.
I tell you when I've heard from you the most. It's been in the last 9 months. When I stopped working at the radio station, the first, I don't think I'm exaggerating, the first 3 months, you called me every day.
I did not.
Every
It's
day.
okay.
To ask me what I was doing. What are you doing? What are you going to do? What's going on? What'd you do today? You know, and I would actually made a joke about it on stage. I did. I said, yeah, I get a call from my mother every day. And she says, what are you doing? I go, same thing I did yesterday, Ma. Made a pot of coffee, read the newspaper, heated up the red hot poker that I'm going to stick in my eye after I get done with this phone call with you as to what I did today. Yes.
I was concerned.
I know you were concerned. I know you're concerned about me. Well, don't be concerned about me. I'm fine. I'm fine. And maybe I get that from you because when I've asked you, when I've been concerned about you at various points of your life, what do you say to me? I'm fine. I'm fine, honey. Nothing to worry about. I'll be okay. So I probably get that from you because I don't want to worry you.
Well, and she gets it sounds like from her mom, who was kept under tabs while you were there,
Yeah,
and et cetera, et cetera.
If anything was
what
wrong with
moms
my
do.
grandmother,
It's never-
my grandmother would probably lie and disguise it as well.
That's what moms do.
By the way, Dilly and I ask him the same question every day.
If you- what? See, there you go. It's people who care about you.
Yeah. So,
Well,
interesting.
I wouldn't Stammy's not well, or the kids I call a lot.
Sure.
Don't I,
See, she's
Stammy?
just
No,
concerned.
Ma. Honestly, if given the two choices, you calling every day and you not calling at all, I'd rather you call every day. I mean, I don't get
Yeah,
me wrong.
don't you want to hear the sound of my voice?
I do love the sound of your voice. Are you kidding
And she
me?
cracks wise with the best right here.
She does. She. Well, like I said earlier, that's. I credit you with my sense of humor. I mean, Dad had a
Not
sense of
really.
humor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did.
he had a sense of humor, but not to. I don't think. I think given the time period and the charming man that he was, that he got all the credit for being suave and charming and funny. When the truth of the matter is, the real humorist is you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had good times.
Well, I'm a worrywart.
No.
Well, every mother is, I'm sure.
Well, they think that I go to the
You
extreme.
do. If you didn't have anything to worry about, you'd be worried that you didn't have anything to worry about.
Well, I worry. I worry about the.
Why do you worry so much? It seems like you're not happy unless you're worried.
Well, I mean, I don't worry if there's nothing going on, but I mean,
What do you worry the most about him? What do you worry about the most about him, though?
You worry.
What do you worry about?
Everything. Why you keep turning around?
Stain, is that true?
But what is what is
No,
the things that you worry
Don't-
about specifically?
Don't go
Just
looking for reinforcements out
that
there.
that he stopped smoking. What are some of the things that your motherly instinct?
Yeah, if I quit smoking and I quit drinking,
What else do you worry
and
about
I quit
with him?
gambling,
I'm leaving.
what? what
He's
would
not
you-
gonna have any friends
What
left.
would you?
But his mom will call 3 times a day.
What would you? What would be left for you to worry about?
No, I just. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's just.
So basically, what I'm
I-
trying to say is, I do these things for you.
You just crack me and you do it for me. All I could say, what makes me happy is that you have. How should I say it?
I don't know.
You could just start by speaking.
Hey, it's my mother you're talking to.
No, just say the thing.
You have good friends.
I have great friends.
And I like all your friends.
Mm-hmm.
There was one in particular I didn't care for.
You didn't care for?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
One friend that you didn't particularly care for? Is he still hang around with him?
No, you don't.
Is he in this room right now? John, can you leave the room for a second?
No,
Who was it?
that was a long time ago.
When here in Columbus?
Where else would I be?
I don't know, but I don't recall
Yeah.
who you didn't care for.
No, I don't. A long time ago.
I gotta know.
I can't remember his name, though.
In
Was
which
he-
scenario would you have
What-
encountered
Used to
him?
come and play poker.
Oh,
He used to come and play poker.
At his your old house above the hardware store?
house, no,
Here.
The majority of your friends I like.
But there was one you didn't like, and I don't hang around with him anymore.
No.
So obviously you were right.
Yeah.
Is he
Yeah.
alive still?
What?
Is he still alive, you think?
When was the last time you saw him?
Oh, years ago.
Did he know that you didn't like him?
I don't know. No,
Does his name rhyme with Gus?
No.
But no, really, I
Why you gotta throw Gus
Yeah,
in
just
there?
because I love Gus, I'm just goofing in with him.
who?
No, she liked Mikey.
I like Mikey.
She likes
I
Mikey and Greg.
Greg.
Yeah.
Where is Greg?
Greg Ford is going to try to see you, but I should also tell you one of the rants that my mother went on recently. Greg Ford is a New England Patriots fan and hence loves Tom Brady.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know? He loves Tom Brady.
He loves Tom Brady, and you got a little upset about when you heard Tom Brady's salary.
Do you know, I think it's utterly ridiculous, the salary that he makes, by just tossing a ball to the next receiver.
Well, what do you think about these Steelers? Roethlisberger just signed for $63 million.
Don't,
No,
hang on a second.
no.
Don't. She's on.
When I saw in the paper that he was making, what was it, 20 million, 200 million, I almost flipped out. I got so ticked off, so pissed off. And I thought, you know what? Give me the damn ball and I'll throw it to the
that
next
much money.
receiver.
Let me ask you
Give
this.
me wait a minute.
All right.
Of all the money that he makes, and they say there are starving kids in the USA. Not only that, I was thinking about this today. How much do our military men make in Afghanistan when they go over there and fight? What's
20
their
million.
salary?
I don't know.
Not 20 million.
Not million. No.
Yeah,
They-
they're out there fighting for our country, protecting Tom Brady. No offense.
The true Patriots.
Yeah, all the Patriots and all the other friggin' football players out there that
Ben
make millions of
Roethlisberger.
dollars. Who? Yeah. That are making all this money and getting paid millions, and your military is getting diddly squat. They can. Am I right or wrong?
100%
What's your
right,
name, Don?
100%.
Let me
Don?
ask
Don.
a what if question.
What? I think it's wrong.
I don't disagree with you.
Let me ask you a what
Okay,
if question.
thanks. Why?
What if my life would have taken a different turn, and I was a professional athlete, and I was a quarterback for the NFL, and I was making $20 million a year? What would you think?
I would say cut that salary. No, why? Why are you giving him $20 million?
You would begrudge your son $20 million a year in a salary?
Yes, I would.
You would really?
20 million?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you settle for 10?
Because first of all, it's probably out of my hands. I have agents.
That is ridiculous. I cannot see it. Getting the stinking ball and throwing it to this one, knocking
I'm
heads.
telling you that if I was
I know
professional
they practice
quarterback in the
hard.
NFL,
Well, shut up. I'm listening.
Stop.
They do play hard. They practice hard. That I can understand. But to get that kind of salary while your men are fighting over there for your lives and your country, and they don't get that much money, and they have families. I don't get. Well, you know what?
So
I
you're
don't disagree
saying
with
that
you.
professional athletes,
No.
especially the quarterbacks in the NFL, who get paid a premium.
Look at that, the new quarterback that got picked for the Seattle Seahawks.
The
Did you see how
Russell Wilson,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
man,
Did you
it's
see how
like
much
35 million or 65 or
try-
something. I don't know. That's a
lot
lot. It's a
more.
lot. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Because he
I
has
don't know.
agents. It's a business.
Why? I don't care if it's a business, but why are they giving them that much money?
Because they can. Because they can negotiate it and it
And let me
happens.
ask you this.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a salary
in the,
cap
in the,
issue, really.
in the summer, they don't play football,
No.
No.
and they get paid.
Well,
Yeah,
Unless
well,
they take
what's
the lump sum, yeah.
yeah.
What?
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
sure
I
they,
don't
I'm
know.
sure it's
No,
dispersed
I 100%
evenly
yeah,
throughout
I
the
agree
year.
with you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And they have these huge homes and swimming pools, and
Beautiful wives.
beautiful wives. That ticks me off to no end.
I will
So
say
I apparently in radio did not make enough money for,
I mean,
you,
no,
for you to get upset about. When I
It was a
got
reasonable amount.
raises
It was a
on a
reasonable
regular
amount, yeah.
basis.
No, well,
You never said, you
Well, I
know
never
what,
knew
you should
what you
take.
made.
You should, yes, you. Well, no, you didn't.
Well, Dino,
No, I
he
didn't.
gave back to the community, didn't he?
Stern gets $35 million a year.
what?
I said Howard Stern gets $35 million a year too, and he's on the radio.
yeah, Howard Stern gets $35 million a year.
No, isn't that stupid?
Is it stupid? I don't know. Would you begrudge me $35 million a year in the entertainment field? What if I gave you half?
Well, that's different.
15%.
As a mother, I think I deserve it.
Yeah, look out for yourself.
Yeah, I gotta look out for you. I just, when I saw that in the paper, I thought, gee,
It's
my
ridiculous.
neck was
All right.
ridiculous. Like I said, no offense to Tom Brady.
No offense.
He's a gentleman. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But Jesus, criminy, Jesus.
Give some of it back.
Give some of it back.
I'll take 10 grand.
I'll take. Yeah.
Give some of it back.
I'll take.
Like I said, your military, it's out there fighting. And what do they get? How much is their salary?
I don't know, Mother.
Go ask.
Not. I don't know. I don't know. They don't make a lot of money.
They don't make a
They
lot
don't
of
make
money.
a lot of
I'm
money
sure
fighting
they
for our
don't.
country. You're absolutely right.
Right.
There is a huge disparity in wages. People that do amazing things aren't getting paid what professional athletes.
Yeah,
are
and then
getting
you
paid.
have that so forth president.
Go on.
Yeah, that cuts this and cuts that and stops all of them getting
Yeah,
checks.
he's the reason I had to pay income tax this year.
Oh, fine.
Your baby
Poor
boy
baby.
had to pay taxes.
Poor baby.
Your baby boy had to
Welcome
pay taxes
to everyone
this
else
year.
in the
Oh,
America.
shut up,
I just think it's wrong. I really do.
Hmm.
And not only that, but what he does to those poor immigrants that are trying to get over here. Mm-hmm. And seeing those kids looking for their.
Was there any point when he was actually running for president that you thought he would be a good choice?
Whew, I couldn't stand
I'm
him.
asking. I'm asking.
I couldn't stand him. Arrogant, rude. Every name in the book I can think of. I mean, I want to be nice on this radio podcast, broadcast, whatever you call it. But you know what? If I could use every name, there's a good Greek word.
Use it.
Sikamenos.
Sikamenos, which is about it's just a harsh word for disgusting and despicable.
He is disgusting. He's rude. Look how he cuts down, like McCain. Look what he said about.
What he said about McCain, yeah.
Yeah, that was so rude. He was a war hero. What was that? No. He's arrogant, rude. I don't know how he's.
So, are you going to vote next year?
Hell no.
You're not going to vote at all?
No, I'm not.
You're not going to vote.
No, you know what?
You know, that's part of the problem, too.
Okay.
Because she lives in Florida.
Well, then
you
what-
do live in Florida.
Yeah, I live in Florida. But you know what? When it comes time to vote,
Yeah.
and they say for president, I'm going to say, you got to be kidding. I'm going
That's
to.
your write-in vote? You got to be kidding? All right.
I'm going to circle Trump's name and put there, you got to be kidding. No, God, no.
All right, we got to wrap things up here because it's getting
Wrap it up.
it's getting late. You will be 83 this July. God bless.
Yes.
I will be down for that.
You will?
Oh yeah, I'm coming down. I'm coming down for yeah,
Oh,
for
that'd
sure.
be nice.
Yeah, I don't come down nearly as much as I made a promise that I would get down there more often, and I'm going to try to
Yeah, you
keep it.
did.
But what do you see? What do you see for Christine Tripodis in these in these twilight years? What would you like to see happen in the next
Peace.
peace in what? In our family, in the world.
In our family.
It ain't gonna happen in our family.
In our family,
Never's gonna be
there's
peace.
Never going to be peace in our family. It's up to them. I'm just.
But
gonna,
are there things?
From now on, I'm just going to keep quiet, like my daughter says.
I doubt that very much. But
No, I will.
but what would you like to? What would you like to see happen in the next few years? What would you before it's all said and done?
Well, like I said, I like to see.
Are they personal things, or are they stuff that involves
Both.
other family members?
I like to see our family get a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see more.
We get together on Thanksgiving. We've had wonderful Thanksgivings.
yeah.
Due thanks largely in part to my sister and her husband. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mike. I mean,
do, huh?
they've brought back the kind of the old school Thanksgiving that we used to have back in Steubenville when all the families used to come to Yaya's house, which were some of my favorite memories. And Stamey and Mike have done a magnificent job of recreating
They
that.
go out of their way.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'd like to be alive to see my grandchildren do well. At least to see
Your grandchildren are doing well. They're all
I'd like
smart,
to see
exceptional.
One of them get married. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, I could live to see that.
So there are things for
I
for
just
the
want
family.
everybody to be happy and healthy and have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
And just peace. All.
Do you want me to go back to work?
Oh dear. I like.
If I don't go back to work, if I don't work,
Oh.
if I don't work a daily job, going someplace Monday through Friday, but I do work, end up doing something else to make money.
Yeah, as
Does it
long as
matter
you-
to you?
No, as long as you're doing something legally.
Legally?
Yeah, something
Okay.
legal.
Yes, I've decided at 60 to take up a life of crime. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, I don't want you to. Well, I don't know. Just as long as it's legal. Mm-hmm. Not that you've ever done anything illegal that I know of.
He was the first anchor baby.
But no, I as long as you're doing something and being able to take care of yourself.
I'm taking care of
Financially
myself,
and so forth and so
I'm
on.
doing the best I can. I try to take care of myself, and I try to take care of others.
That you do. And what the other thing is, with everything that you've done in the past, all
Yeah.
these charities that you do,
Yeah,
makes me very proud that you do that.
yeah. I'm glad that you're proud of me.
I am. I've always been proud of you
Yeah.
because that's a big undertaking, and I could see from your plaques that I read how it's appreciated.
I've been very fortunate that I had a job that allowed me to do that for many years, and yes.
That's a big undertaking, and for somebody, because when it's nice to know when somebody can come up to you and say, and I saw that lady at Costco's. They came up to you with the Girl Scout,
Yeah.
and you guys took care of their packs were stolen, their backpacks or something.
Yeah, I remember that. There
Remember
was
that.
something they had either all their cookies were stolen or their
Yeah,
backpack or
and
something.
you guys
yeah,
took care of that.
Took care of that. That was one small little thing, but yeah, I mean nobody knew about that except
Not
them.
only that, but what you did for Children's Hospital, that was a big undertaking. You know,
Yeah,
and,
like I said, I had a vehicle to do it in, and I'm more than happy to have done it. But once again, and I hate to come full circle, that credit goes to you. Ma,
No,
Ma,
how
Ma.
does it go-
Let me.
how does it go to me?
How does it go to you? Let me close on this note. On two notes actually. One, my sister, who normally, when it comes to anything regarding you, is right smack dab in the middle of it, has very quietly and patiently sat back there and just listened. But I'm going to give a shout out to my sister because I can't tell you how much I appreciate her. She has been with you from the time you guys came to Steubenville. She has been by your side every step of the way, from Ohio to Indiana to Florida to even visiting me up here now in Columbus, Ohio. Stamy, I'll say it, is the better child. She jokingly calls me the prince because.
But I
here's
call
the
her
deal.
my
She calls me the
princess.
prince because the prince doesn't make as many appearances as the daughter who is dutiful and there the whole time. Don't look back. She knows the truth.
She's still there.
She knows the truth.
Well, you know what I call her, and I tell everybody.
What?
No offense to you.
No offense taken.
Better not.
No. What do you call her?
Well, I call her my guardian angel.
She is. She is.
And I know she gets upset with me.
Ward number 1.
She gets upset with me at times, and I feel that, she has the right. My thing is, I don't like to upset my children, if something.
And
goes
by
on.
trying not to upset your children, you actually upset your children.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a mistake. But I learned from my mistakes.
Well, no. Stamy is your guardian angel.
She is.
And she's, in some way, she's mine.
She's been there.
My point being, that's the type of child you raised. Okay? Now let me finish, because this is how we're going to close it up. So you have to just shut up for a minute and take it. Oh, okay? Just for 1 second.
I don't have the last word.
No, you don't get the last word. You might get the last word before it's all said and done. But the reason that she is the way she is, and the reason you say, oh, I'm so proud of the things that you do, and I'm so proud that you have good friends, and that people like you, and that all stems from how you brought us up. To be good to people, to be a gentleman, to be respectful, and to always, whenever possible, give of yourself. That comes from you. You had nothing, and you still gave. As a mother and as a person, you're always looking out for people. People would come to you in Steubenville and sit in your little kitchen nook and unload their burdens to you. You would listen. I mean, you gave of yourself, and that's what I learned. That's what I learned from you, to give of yourself whenever possible.
You have to have been there when my breakfast nook.
Yeah, I'm sure if these guys were around back then, they would have been sitting in your breakfast nook talking to you about whatever
Stories.
was troubling them in life.
Well, and this, to interject, this is your breakfast nook.
This is the breakfast
This
nook.
is the breakfast.
Except this time it's my breakfast
and
nook.
we're drunk.
And,
you're not drunk.
not on this we're not.
Well, generally.
That's all I could do to choke this
Well.
down tonight, but in honor
All
of
I
you.
know is that my daughter goes above and beyond for her friends, more so than you do.
Yeah, she's telling me to cut you off. But, I can't
No, she
because she's
doesn't.
right.
I'm saying like it's the truth. She does. She goes above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks of everybody. She's thoughtful. She cares.
Mm-hmm.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. You lucked out.
And you do the same.
No, I just pay your supplemental insurance every month. That's about it.
Well, gee, Dino, thanks. And your wife.
Yeah. And for some reason, that makes me and Stamy, good.
Wow,
Mom,
Stamy.
first of all, thank you for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for doing this. I know you were reluctant to do it. I appreciate
Are we going to
it.
do it again?
If you'd like to do it again, I would love to do it again. But we're out of time. We're well
Easter
over an
week is
hour.
very long. We could
Yeah.
do this
Yeah,
tomorrow.
We could. No, we're
it's
done
another
for
time.
tonight.
Good Friday.
I think-
Holy Saturday.
Yeah, no, we went to church
Oh.
today. We went to Holy Wednesday. We got the
Didn't
Holy.
you feel good when you went to church today?
I did feel good. You know what I felt good about? Honestly, I make jokes about it. I felt good about going to church with you and Stamy. I felt
we
good about the
enjoyed
three
it.
of us being in church because that seldom happens anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, why we have, I was sitting next to Kevin Young, who said the Catholics get the ashes on Ash Wednesday. I said, and we get the holy oil. And I go, yeah, it strikes me strange that we of Mediterranean descent get the oil because we already have somewhat greasy complexions to begin with. We really don't need any more oil added to our scalps and cheeks of the process.
Did you get the ashes, Deli?
Deli, did you get ashes?
It's olive oil, isn't it?
It's not. I don't know what kind of olive oil.
Oh, it's blessed.
It's blessed
the
olive
holy
oil.
unction. It's the holy unction.
Is it
I got
extra virgin?
It's
Yeah,
the
you
it's
got
the,
it.
it's the holy unction.
Let me ask you something, Jamie.
What's your function?
When you get it, what do you do with it?
the ashes.
How long do you keep it on?
As long as it stays on.
Same with the oil. We're supposed to leave the
It
oil in
wears
until
off.
till it wears in.
It comes off.
It depends on your distributor, you know, if they give you a good smearing or just a little, you know,
Same with the oil. You're not supposed to wipe off the oil anymore. According to my sister, who told me that today, you're supposed to let it soak in and just kind of
Yeah, just
let
rub
it
it
let it
into
let
your,
let the
in
holy
your
unction
healing, your hands.
go into your system and change your
To your
perspective
hands.
on whatever. I don't know.
on zits.
It's for healing.
Holy unction. What's your function?
Are we going to get rated on this?
Hmm?
Are we going to get rated on this?
I don't. Well, I don't think we said any F words or GDs or anything.
No, not too many at all. And we do get rated. Yes, when we ask
Yeah.
people to listen on iTunes, we ask that they rate the podcast. So we're hoping that you get the highest you can get is 5. So ask them for 5s, Ma.
Who do I ask?
The people that are
The
watching
listeners
and listening.
So say if you.
Where am I going to see these people?
You're not going to actually. Dear Lord.
So
now
real
we're
quick,
back
just
to
say
square one.
if you're listening,
You're not
on
actually
iTunes,
going to see them.
Just say
Yeah, we've come
rate,
full circle.
What?
say rate and review us on iTunes.
Say what?
Rate and review us on iTunes.
Who am I going to see?
You're not gonna
you're going to say that in the microphone right now.
in the microphone. Well, you didn't say that.
Well, now I am, I guess.
Gotta be specific.
Okay. So say right now, say rate and review us on iTunes
Rate and review us on iTunes.
and give us a 5
was gonna
stars.
say Looney
That was
Tunes.
good. Yeah,
Because
and on Looney Tunes, on Looney. Well, you know,
on
it
Looney
might as
Tunes.
That's all.
That's all, folks.
Follow us on all the Instagrams and the Facebooks. YouTube, please. This is golden on YouTube. Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis.
That's the other selfish reason I asked you to do this. Because now I have this wonderful piece of video document that I'll have forever, and we'll have it forever. The family will have it forever.
Stamey's kids.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that will never go away, no matter how much you wish it would.
But you have to subscribe to get it.
Yeah, you have to
Now,
subscribe to
when
get
I get a bottle of that whiskey,
you can take any bottle of whatever you want home. I'm not going to miss it, to be
It's all
perfectly honest
yours.
with you.
It's all yours.
All right.
I mean, it tastes good though.
Yeah, I gave you a very light version.
On that regard, the Kessler review. If you have enough ice and enough 7-Up, you can make it work.
Yeah, the Kessler review. It's an American blended whiskey, and I think the operative word there is blended. It's good for cocktail mixing. Put your Coca-Colas and your Sprites and your 7-Ups
good with the
in this,
7-Up.
and you'll be just fine. And at $8.64 a
There you
bottle.
go.
There you go.
Well, that's cheap.
It's cheap. It's very cheap. It's very cheap.
Sometimes your cheaper liquor is better than your most expensive bourbon.
Spoken like a wise
Spoken like the
woman.
true mother of a guy who has a podcast
go.
called Whiskey Business. We strive to get bottles under $50 a bottle.
50. Well, you can't beat the $8.
No, you could buy how many of these could you buy for $50? Lots, right?
It's 4 or 5.
Yeah. How many?
What?
Yeah, Stamey said, how many could Tom Brady buy? Oh.
Oh, don't get me started on it. You know
Okay.
what? You don't think
What are your
he'll
thoughts on
call
Tom
me.
Brady?
He's not going to call you.
He might listen to this
he
time.
calls
If
you,
he listens
you
to this
let me know,
podcast-
and we'll be down there.
And he
in a
listens.
heartbeat.
Oh, what?
I'll.
I never thought of that.
We will
If he
hashtag
listens
Tom
to
Brady.
that,
What are your thoughts on Robert Kraft?
who's Robert Kraft?
Okay, all right, okay. All right, let's wrap it up.
We've gone
Do you
down
think Tom Brady might hear this?
He might. You never. It's on the
in
interwebs.
a strange. The
I'm
way
going to
the-
tag him. I'm going to put this on the Instawebs and tag him, and we'll see.
How are you going to tag him?
Well,
Oh, see now. Go ahead.
on the internet.
No,
Oh, come
no,
on.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Are
Donald
you
Take
Trump.
sure?
care.
Donald Trump
On the
might
social
hear this,
medias.
too. If Tom
I'm
Brady
going to
might
tag.
hear it, Donald Trump might hear it.
I'll tag Donald Trump and Tom Brady on the social media, and then maybe you'll be.
Yeah.
Invited to the next.
What if you put something? What if what's his name? Trump put something on social media about me.
What if he does?
Then you'll be famous.
You'll be famous.
And I've got the rights to our podcast. Whiskey Business with Christine Tripodis.
Whiskey Business. We're going to hashtag Tom Brady, hashtag Donald Trump, hashtag Department of Immigration.
Don't look in the basement.
Don't look in the basement. Hashtag don't look in the basement.
Hashtag don't believe anything.
Yeah, no, right?
All right.
You know what? If Tom Brady were to call me, I'm going to say I don't say nothing about you. I know.
You're gonna take on a fake
I don't
accent.
speak English. You got the wrong name.
What do you? What was the letter DB?
DP.
DP. Yeah.
Displaced person.
Oh, DP.
According to my sister.
I'm a DP.
Okay, I gotta wrap it up. Whiskey Business, my friends, is a Never the Luck production, recorded on the audio side by the man in the tie in honor of my mother, Greg Hansberry.
And I took a shower.
And you took a shower.
And he wore a tie.
And on the YouTube side and video, Mr. John Whitney, who does a magnificent job on the YouTube side. So thank both these gentlemen. The guest bottle has been Kessler's Smooth as Silk American Blended Whiskey. Okay.
You know, I wanted
Smooth
to
as-
say too on your radio, on your podcast.
Go ahead.
To have an auction.
An auction?
Yeah,
For what?
a whiskey auction
Why would I have a whiskey auction?
to sell some of your whiskey.
When I die?
No, dear.
While I'm alive?
Yeah, look, you know all that Jack Daniels over there. Do you know how much money we can get for that, Dino?
For that Jack Daniels over there?
Yeah, that
You
display.
wouldn't get retail.
I-
What do you mean auction? When you say auction, that means people come in here and pay less than what I paid for it.
No.
Yeah.
I will not accept anything low. You tell me how much you pay for that, or if it was given to you.
We'll put stickers on them.
Yeah, there you go.
Like an estate sale.
Yeah, like an estate sale.
My two good friends who are sitting behind you
This is mine.
are waiting for the day that I pass.
Don't say that.
Well, they're not waiting. They're
Shame on
not. They're
you.
not anticipating.
Oh, do you know?
They already have stick-it notes on the shit they want.
I'm gonna ban you.
Deli gets the booze. I only get the
You
manuscript.
say that again, I'm gonna ban you from the Tripodis
Oh
household.
dear Lord, people! I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I don't get any of the liquor.
Yeah.
Not me.
So, Christine, this
Yes.
is the rehearsal. Are you ready to do the live?
Oh, you took Hansberry's line.
That's my line.
That's Hansberry's line.
Alive.
I didn't mean
As
to.
long as somebody said it.
Yeah, Deli gets the booze, Ma, and Jamie gets all the unpublished manuscripts.
Why does he
I'm not
make
giving
money?
Deli all the booze.
I see. I still get the manuscripts.
Wait, I actually have a question. Maybe we could do for a short. The checker thing you guys do.
What about what?
Or hold on, I'm sorry. Okay,
I'm trying to wrap things
sorry.
up. Dude.
Wrap it up, and maybe we will record something else for a shot.
Why do you want to wrap it up? This is fun.
Oh, now it's fun. I had to pull teeth to get you to sit there and do it. You didn't want to do it. Now it's fun.
Yeah, because you know I can think of a lot of other people I'd like to
Can I
slam.
ask a question? How's his name was Gus?
The opposite. You guys
Where'd Gus come from?
Oh, do you have to start that again?
No, I just want to know where Gus was
Okay,
from.
all right. Let's end this and let's do Gus and checkers. Just like
Who's checkers?
Because you always play checkers. It's just like a shot.
Who's I play checkers.
I know you do.
I beg your pardon.
You play checkers.
Oh, where did you get that idea?
You play with me every Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Thanks.
She's like taking offense. Sorry, you're
Wrap it up. It'll be funny. We can have him ask that.
But he cheats. Though.
I don't cheat. I don't cheat.
Hold it for the podcast. All right.
All right. Wrapping it up again. One more time. Whiskey Business is a Never the Luck production produced by Greg Hansberry on the audio side, John Whitney on the YouTube side, and the guest bottle has been Kessler's Smooth as Silk Whiskey, and the very special guest, and I'd love to have her back, I think, has been my dear, dear mother, who I love dearly, and I can't believe I didn't cry. There was a moment there I got a little verklempt.
Why would I say?
You didn't say anything. It's just that I have such wonderful, deep-seated, emotional, good thoughts about you that they started to come to the surface a little bit. But I tried to remain professional.
Allergies.
Yeah, and
Allergies.
blame it on
Wow.
the cigarette smoke.
You'd save your tears for when I go.
Shave my what? When I go. Oh, when I go. You ain't going anywhere, crazy
Mother of
lady.
guilt.
Not.
You're not going anywhere for a long, long time. Not as long as your daughter's sitting over there and I have anything to do or say about it. You got a lot of good years still left in you, so you will be back. All right? So until the next bottle or the next mother, see ya.
Boy, they're not leaving.